Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. I'm just waiting for people to arrive. Welcome. I hope everyone's having a really good Stampex. And thank you for joining us. Well, welcome everyone to another Stampex talk within the Spink Auditorium. I am absolutely delighted to welcome Dr. Ren Yamada to the Spink Auditorium. He's the director of the Japan Philatelic Society Foundation. He is going to introduce us to Japanese philately and the society itself. And now I'd like to hand over to Dr. Ren Yamada.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, thank you very much. A very kind introduction. Good morning, everyone. My name is Ren Yamada from Japan Philatelic Society Foundation. Thank you very much for opportunity to give a talk at 2021 Spring Virtual Stampex. I'm now living in Tokyo, Japan, and I'm talking from Tokyo today. Current time in Tokyo is 5 p.m. on Saturday, 27th March. I had lived in Cambridge, United Kingdom from January 2018 to July 2020. During my stay in UK for 2 years and 7 months, I really enjoyed philately, and I continue to be a member of Royal Philatelic Society London, British Society for Japanese Philately, and Cambridge Philatelic Society, and I'm still enjoying online meeting of them. I, of course, attended Stampex in London when I lived in UK. I think the Stampex is a great stamp fair, so I'm now very excited and feeling great honor to give a talk at the Stampex today. Oh. Sorry, I cannot change the page. Oh, okay. During my stay in UK, I found most of UK philatelists were not familiar to Japanese stamps. But when I talked about Japanese stamps, I found most of UK philatelists became to have interest of Japanese stamps. One reason is the feature of Japanese stamps are quite different from UK stamps. So today I will talk about such a kind of features about Japanese stamps, especially in 19th century Japanese stamps. After that, I'd like to talk about activities of Japan Philatelic Society Foundation, JPS, such as philatelic exhibition, philatelic events, small exhibitions, and so on. And finally, I'd like to talk about JPS Japanese Stamp Specialized Catalog. Last year, we published first volume of bilingual specialized catalog for Japanese stamp, and we are now making second and third volumes of specialized catalog. We are now planning to publish 6 volumes of Japanese stamp specialized catalog. Okay, let's move on to the introduction to Japanese philately. Japanese first postage stamp were issued in 1871, which was 31 years later than the issue of penny black and pence blue in UK. 4 face values of 41 mon, 100 mon, 200 mon, and 500 mon were issued as shown here. These beautiful stamps were interior printing. The biggest and interesting feature of these stamps were that all printing plates were hand engraved and etched. All stamps in the sheet were engraved by hand. We call these stamps the etched stamps. And the design of these 4 stamps were dragon. So 1 dragon and 2 dragons. So there are 2 dragons on every stamps. And unit of currency is mon. So 48 mon, 100 mon. So we call these stamps Dragon Mon series. After issued the Dragon Mon series, 51 catalog numbers of etched stamps, including the Dragon Mon series, had been issued until 1876. The currency unit was changed from mon to sen in the second series. So the second series of etched stamp is called Dragon Sen series. After that, the design was changed as shown here, and cherry blossoms are depicted at the 4 corners. So we call this stamp as cherry blossom series. And during issued cherry blossom series, stamps for overseas mail were issued, and the design of overseas mail stamps are birds. So we call this stamp bird stamps. I will show some pages of etched stamps from Eagle Nathaniel collection in this slide and next slide. His etched stamp collection won a Grand Prix at Philately 2002. This slide shows a Dragon 100 mon and Dragon 200 mon pages. As shown in this slide, positions of all stamps are identified in both pages. So these are the positions, for example, position 25, position 28, position 7, position 26. Because the printing plate of etched stamp were engraved by hand, as I said. So all stamps in the sheet are different and have their own features. So plating and positioning in the sheet are possible for hand-etched stamps. This is a philately interesting point of the etched stamps. After issued the Cherry Blossom series, postal volume increased drastically, and the number of issue of stamps consequently increased. So many printing plates were used, and the government started to use Japanese kana syllabics to control the number of plates. The Japanese kana syllabics are just same as plate number of the 19th century UK stamps. This slide shows the Cherry Blossom series with syllabics and bird stamps. So for example, so this is the enlarged image of this stamp. So syllabics is here. So this syllabics is to is the syllabics. And regarding the bird stamps, so this is the syllabics. So this is the syllabics. Ha. Next, I'd like to talk about Koban stamps issued on 1876. 1876 is an epoch-making year for Japanese stamps because the Koban stamps were the first stamps printed by modern printing plate in Japan. The printing plates were made by a modern reproducing method, namely typography or L-head relief method. We call these stamps Koban stamps. Koban is a Japanese old gold coin, and the shape of Koban is oval, just like the design of Koban stamps. So we call these stamps Koban stamps. The Koban stamps are classified into 3, the old Koban, the UPU Koban, and the new Koban. And these 17 stamps are the old Kobans. The color of 1 cent black, the stamp, was too dark to be cancelled by postmark. Maybe you know this kind of story. So that is penny black. Same things happen for Japanese stamps. So this color is too dark, so the color was changed to lake brown, as shown here. The color of this 2 cent olive was also too dark, so the color of 2 cent olive was also changed to 2 cent violet. These three stamps are the UPU Koban stamps. The UPU Koban followed the basic color rule of stamps for overseas mail, which were agreed shortly afterwards by the Universal Postal Union. Greens for overseas printed matter, red for overseas postcard, and blue for overseas envelope. After UPU Kobans was issued, 10 values of Koban stamps were issued. These 10 stamps are called the new Koban stamps. Since modern technology for the printing plate, the reproduction was employed for the Koban stamps, the number of constant variety was drastically decreased in comparison with the etched stamps. However, the Koban stamps are still philately interesting because there are many varieties in papers, perforations, and color shades. I'd like to talk about these varieties in next few slides. This slide shows the paper variety of UPU Koban. Images in the upper row are the surface image, and images in the bottom row are transparent images. At the beginning of the UPU Koban, cotton paper was used. Since the cotton paper was mainly used for the old Koban, the cotton paper for the UPU Koban is quite scarce. The cotton paper was a horizontal meshed paper as shown in this transparent image. The main paper in early printing period of UPU Koban was rice straw paper. It is little bit difficult to see the direction of paper mesh from this image, but rice straw paper was vertical meshed paper. And intermediate printing paper, white paper, late printing ordinary paper, and latest printing ordinary paper were used as shown here. So, surprising, the papers of UPU Koban are classified into 5 varieties. And regarding the old Koban, papers are classified into 9 varieties. This slide shows the perforation variety of UPU Koban. There are many varieties. As shown here, in early printing period, there are 4 perforations. Perforation 10, 11, 12, and 12.5. And in intermediate printing period, perforations are 2, 8.5, and 11L. So this L stands for the large hole. So compared to this 11 and 11, so diameter of this stamp, diameter of hole is larger. So this perforation called 11L. And in this intermediate printing period, this perforation 10 was also still used. And in late printing period, there were 3 perforations, perforation 10 late, 10 half, perforation 13. And in latest printing period, perforation 12 was used, and still perforation 13 was used. The perforation of Koban stamps was line perforation. So combination perforations of these perforations exist. But generally speaking, compound perforation is very scarce. And among these perforations, the scariest one is perf 11 or perf 12 half in early printing. And most common perforation is 12 at the latest printing. For example, the catalog price of perforation 11 in early printing is almost 100 times higher than the perforation 12 in latest printing period. I think this wide variety of perforations of Koban stamps is very interesting for UK philatelists because there are small variety in the perforations of UK stamps. This slide shows an example of color shade variety of Isen green, Wansen green UPU Koban. This table is summary of variety of UPU Koban. I'm sorry for the small font. So this is the printing period, plate, papers, and color shade. And as shown here, there are many color shades of for this stamp. And interesting point is appearance period of each color shade was studied as shown here. So this is very interesting to collect the color shade of Koban stamps. As explained here, the Koban stamps have wide variety of in papers, perforations, and color shade. In addition to this variety, many kinds of postmarks were used in the Koban stamp period. So the Koban stamps were very interesting for the viewpoint of both traditional philately and postal philately, or postal philately or marcophily. I'm very happy if you understand if you understood Japanese stamps are philatelically very interesting. Next, I'd like to talk about the largest philatelic society in Japan, Japan Philatelic Society Foundation, JPS. JPS located at Tokyo, Japan. I think most of you know the place of Tokyo, but please allow me to explain the place of Tokyo. This is the world map. London is here and Tokyo is here. The distance between London and Tokyo is 9,576 kilometers. It takes about 12 hours by airplane. This is the map of Japan, and Tokyo is here, almost the center of Japan. And this is the logo of JPS, and this is the building where the JPS locates. Again, this picture is the building where JPS locates. Ground floor and second floor are the Philatelic Museum. There are two types of exhibit in the Philatelic Museum: permanent exhibition and special exhibition. The special exhibition is usually changed every 4 months. There is also a philatelic library in the museum. On the second floor, there are some meeting rooms. These meeting rooms are used for some philatelic events in addition to the ordinary meetings. And so Japan Philatelic Society Foundation, JPS, and Japan Philatelic Publishing, JPP, locates on the third floor of this building. Right is the picture of entrance of Philatelic Museum, in this building. Okay, this slide shows the brief history and organization of JPS. The JPS was established in 1946. So this year is a 75th anniversary of JPS. In 1969, former JPS building in Shinjuku, Tokyo was completed. In 1982, JPS became an incorporated foundation. Since the place where JPS building located in Shinjuku was redeveloped, JPS moved to the Philatelic Museum building in Meiji-do, Tokyo in 1990. And in 2011, JPS became a public interest incorporated foundation. The number of JPS members is about 10,000. We JPS organize 100 local philatelic groups in Japan, and JPS also has 25 study groups, such as Japanese Stamp Study Group, British Stamp Study Group, Thematic Philately Study Group, Air Philately Study Group, and so on. This slide shows activities and fabrication of JPS. We JPS have many activities, and these are some of examples of them. We usually have 2 national philatelic exhibitions a year. This one is Stamp Show, and the other one is Japex. I'll explain these 2 exhibitions later. JPS has bi-monthly philatelic auction. We also have social contribution, such as support for local philatelic groups and workshops. Promotions of postal culture are also our activity. JPS has many publications. The most important one is Yushu. Yushu is a Japanese word, and it means philately. This is the cover page of Yushu magazine. So Yushu magazine promotes philately not only to JPS members, but also to non-JPS members. The Philatelic Studies is a bi-monthly magazine. Most of the articles in this journal are original studies. This is a cover page of the Philatelic Studies. JPS also publishes weekly magazine, Yushu Weekly. Most of the articles of Yushu Weekly are news about new stamps and new postmarks, and so on. JPS also publishes many books, such as philatelic monographs, other books, and catalogs. This slide shows Japex, which is the largest national philatelic exhibition or philatelic competition in Japan. The Japex is held in November, and number of the frames is about 500. These pictures are taken in 2021. This picture is the opening ceremony of Japex, and this is an exhibit commentary by exhibitor. This picture is the exhibit, and this is the award ceremony, and right figure is the medal and trophies of Japex. These pictures also are the pictures of Japex. The left top figure is a long queue for waiting the Japex opening. As shown this picture, we usually have several lectures in the Japex. We also enjoy the dealer's booth, and we enjoy small party at evening. We JPS held real Japex even last November under COVID-19 pandemic. Every attendee wore face masks and we prepared hand sanitizer and we checked body temperature of all attendees. Thanks to these efforts and understanding by attendees, no infection of COVID-19 at Japex was reported. This slide shows Stamp Show, which is held in April. The Stamp Show is not only philatelic exhibition, but also philatelic festival. The attendees of Stamp Show are not only philatelists, but also non-philatelists. Many non-philatelic families attend the Stamp Show and enjoy philately. This means Stamp Show promotes the world of philately to ordinary persons. And we JPS believe the promotion of philately is one of the most important our missions. As I said, there are some meeting rooms on the second floor of the Philatelic Museum building. By using these meeting rooms, JPS study groups or other philatelic circles hold exhibitions or events. I will talk about such events and exhibitions in next few slides. This slide shows a small philatelic exhibition named Minipex by a Japanese stamp study group. These are the exhibitions, and in addition to these exhibitions, philatelic group sell the stamps by the very reasonable prices. These are also very good for philatelists. And number of frames of Minipex is about 40, although the number of frames is very small. Level of this exhibition is very, very high. So many intense philatelists are enjoying this small but high-level exhibition. This slide shows the Minipex by women's philately groups. As shown in this picture, most of attendees are women. In addition to the exhibition, they are enjoying making covers or chatting at the center table as shown here. We JPS consider that developing new style philately, just like this exhibition, is also our important mission. This slide shows the free market of letters and related goods at the Philatelic Museum building. I think many non-philatelists are gathering at this kind of events. We JPS are hoping that some of such non-philatelists will become philatelists and will join JPS in near future. We have an annual JPS members meeting. This meeting has been held at local city in Japan, and the venue is changed every year. Usually more than 100 members gather. This bottom figure is a group photo of the meeting. In this event, we enjoyed philatelic talks, small exhibitions, and we, of course, enjoy party in the event. As shown in this picture, we usually enjoy auction during the party. This auction is one of the enjoyable events of the annual members meeting, and we become friends each other at the event. JPS was one of the organizers of the Philately 2011 World Stamp Exhibition, which was held in Yokohama 10 years ago. This figure is the opening ceremony of Philately 2011, and this picture is Her Imperial Highness Princess Takamado, honorary president of Philately 2011. These are the exhibits and Palmares, and Diaz booth. This summer, we are planning to have the World Stamp Exhibition Philanippon 2021. We JPS are one of the organizers again. The Philanippon 2021 will be held from 25th to 30th August this year in Yokohama. I don't know whether you can visit Japan this summer or not, but if possible, let's enjoy the first real world stamp exhibition after COVID-19 pandemic started. Finally, I'd like to talk about the Japanese stamp specialized catalog, JISCA. Japex has published the Japanese stamp specialized catalog, JISCA, since 1978. Before last year, the JISCA was black and white printing and was written in only Japanese. But last autumn, we published new specialized catalog, JISCA 1876 to 1908. This new catalog is all color and bilingual. Bilingual means Japanese and English. We are planning to publish 6 volumes of all color bilingual JISCA. And this volume includes Koban series and chrysanthemum series and stationaries of at the same period. This slide shows the title page of Koban series and chrysanthemum series. So these are the Kobans, old Koban, the new Kobans. I'm sorry, there's no space, so I cannot show the UPU Kobans. And this is a cover page of chrysanthemum series. This slide shows example of pages of stationery. This slide shows paper and perforation classification of UPU Koban stamps. Left figure shows the paper classification. Color images of surface, enlarged surface, reverse, and transparent were shown for each papers, as shown here. Right figure shows the perforations. So all perforations of this stamp are shown as shown here. And explanation is written both in Japanese and English. This slide shows some page of each stamp in catalog. The left figure is a page of color shade and catalog values of combination of papers, perforations, and color shade. These are the color shades. So you can check the color shade by using color images. And this table shows the catalog price of combination of papers, perforations, and color shades. So this is a very big tables and very useful for every collectors. And medium center image is a page of pages of basic information of this stamp and constant flows. So this is a basic information such as date of issue, number of issues, and largest block, and so on. And these are the constant flows. And the right figure is a page of covers. These are the image of covers, and these are the catalog price of covers. This slide shows the pages of postmarks. As I said, there are many types of postmarks that are used in Koban stamp period. The catalog value of combination between postmarks and stamps are shown in this table. These are for single stamps, and these are the covers. And as shown here, there are icons of postmarks. So you can easily find the postmarks by using these icons. And this table is very useful for every philatelist, especially for the Markov-Philly philatelist. As I said, we are planning to publish 6 volumes of all-color bilingual JISCA. Our plan is as follows. Next JISCA will be JISCA 1871 to 1876. I hope we will publish this new JISCA this autumn. And next JISCA will be JISCA 1913 to 1937. And these images are the tentative images. Maybe we will change the image of these stamps. And you can buy this JISCA, so JISCA 1876 to 1908 at the booth, at least Virtual Stampex. Our booth number is maybe B13, or you can buy this JISCA at our website. Thank you very much for your kind attention.
Thank you so much, Dr. Yamada. That was excellent. I've had some really lovely comments and chats from people saying this presentation is a great delight. Thank you for sharing. So that's really kind. So we have got some Q&A popping up now in the Q&A box. If you've got a few minutes to answer those questions, please do keep popping those questions into the Q&A. I'll also monitor the chat. So if anyone would like to put questions in, please do keep them, pop them over. So Andrew asks, he says, hello, Renichi. Yeah. Is mixed perforation franking on the same cover common?
Mixed perforation franking on the same cover common? Not so common. So usually, so if you buy the stamps at the post office, so usually stamps come from the same sheet. So in one sheet, so perforation is same. So usually perforation of the one cover is same. But sometimes, so you put the stamps at your house, and at the post office, the other stamp is put. In that case, perforation is different in 2 stamps on the same cover. It's okay, Andrew.
Thank you. Andrew, I hope that helps. Another one from Graham Wild, who has written in Japanese, and I think it might say thank you. So we'll go with it says thank you. And then he says, is philately growing in Japan? How about young people?
Okay. So just same in UK. So young person is very number of young person, young philatelists is very small. Unfortunately, I am one of the youngest philatelists in Japan. Same as in Japan, but maybe so. I'm now I'm 50. Oh, I forgot my age. Maybe I'm 56 years old. But some of very strong philatelists, I know 30s, but very small.
Yeah.
Small number.
Yeah. And do you think the hobby is growing in Japan?
Sorry?
Do you think the hobby is growing, philately? Do you think more people are getting
into it? Yeah. But so as I said in the presentation, we must develop new style philately. And such a philately, maybe many young people feel it's interesting. And I want to join the many women to the philately. And so their considering is different from so men.
Yeah.
So I believe women will make new philately.
Interesting, thank you. Paul Davey asks, will the JSCA include occupation issues?
Okay, so current issue not include occupation, and now we are maybe now we don't not determined. Of course, we already published Japanese written JISCA about occupation, but now we don't have the plan to make English JISCA. I will consider.
Great, thank you. I hope that helps, Paul. Alan has asked if you could confirm the publication date of the 1913 to 1937 JSCA catalogue. Thank you, he said.
Okay. Okay, this one. Yes. I hope next year, but yeah, I hope next year. But if we cannot publish next year, I'm sorry.
I hope that helps, Alan. I think maybe look on the website for more information.
Yeah.
Gerard has asked, can Dr. Yamada suggest roughly what percentage of the stamps in his talk are relatively affordable and what percentage might be out of reach for an average collector?
Percentage of the stamps in his talk are... Difficult question.
Is it perhaps just a mix?
Sorry. I will consider.
We'll come back to you, Gerard, on that one. Yes, come back to him later, maybe. Yeah. Thank you. A couple of others. Is the from a question from Alan? Is the JPS auction open to collectors outside Japan?
Currently not open to. Maybe you can bid to JPS auction, but generally speaking, current situation we don't open to the foreigners, but maybe you can bid. So especially these days, you can bid by mail or something. So you can bid to JPS auction from abroad.
Brilliant, thank you. I hope that helps, Alan. Gerard has said he's thinking about buying the catalogue so he can find out the values for himself. Thank you. So they sorted himself out, which is great. Graham Wild has asked, is the collection of foreign stamps popular in Japan?
Oh, yeah. So maybe more than 80% of Japanese person collecting only Japanese stamps, but about 20% of Japanese person collecting foreign stamps. And I think British stamp is one of the most popular foreign stamps in Japan. And so I think there are some Japanese audiences, and so if Japanese audience, so I think it's okay to ask a question by using Japanese. I will translate the question to English and will answer by English and Japanese.
Brilliant. Thank you so much.
日本人の方は、日本語で質問書いてくれて構いません。私が英語に翻訳して、それで英語と日本語でお答えいたします。
Whilst we wait for people to put their questions in the Q&A, should I ask this one last question? we've got a question, Ren, which says, what sort of prices do high value Japanese stamps go for, please?
Oh,
Or you might not know.
so that means the highest price of Japanese stamp?
Yeah, high value. What sort of prices do high value stamps go for?
Oh, it's difficult.
Difficult to say.
So maybe more than 10 million yen. 10 million yen means 0.1 million pounds.
Gosh. So 0.1 million pounds is just a little bit more than that in dollars. I hope that helps, Jonathan. Thank you, Ren.
Yeah.
I've got one more question. From Alan, who asks, Japan will only issue one yen stamp to commemorate 150 years of Japanese stamps on April the 14th. Do you think this is disappointing?
So maybe the number of issue of that stamp is very small, and so I speculate meaning of your question is so former 1 yen stamp. The design was a Japanese stamp founder Hisoka Maejima, and maybe why he think I'm disappointing is so that Japanese postal system founders design will be changed. But I think that stamp will be issued after these commemorative stamps will issue.
Thank you. I've got one more question.
Yeah.
From an anonymous attendee. Do you believe that the number of stamp issues yearly might be off-putting for new collectors to the hobby? Loved the talk, thank you. Do you believe that the
Yeah, so these days the number of stamps, new stamps is very, very high. So I cannot catch up the new stamps. So these days it's very difficult to collect all new stamps.
Yeah.
It's very expensive. But so collecting all stamps is very difficult. But so in that case, it's okay to collect the stamps, only the stamps that you like. So it's a new style of collecting stamps, I think.
Brilliant. Thank you so much for that. That's excellent. And thank you so much for the excellent presentation. I've really enjoyed it. I'm sure everyone else has. And we've had lots and lots of thank yous come through on the chat, which is lovely. I don't know if you want to offer to the Japanese audience again for you to translate any questions that they've got.
日本語 OK ですよ。
Give it a few seconds.
Japanese person is very shy.
Oh, well, thank you so much. We are most grateful for you to do this talk, and thank you to everyone who has attended. We hope you've liked it. We also want to really spread the love and awareness for the hobby. So if you've actually really enjoyed the talk and enjoyed visiting Virtual Stampex, then please do pledge your support. You can find, I've just put a little link in the chat box there, and also you'll be able to find a pledge button through the information box in the Virtual Stampex show. Once again, thank you so much. Dr. Yamada, that was excellent, really, really good. And if you've missed the talk, it will be live in the Spink Auditorium later on this afternoon, so you'll be able to go and watch it there. Thanks once again.
Yeah, thank you very much. Bye.
Bye.